I'm Marta Bertolini. I have actually, my PhD was in hair follicle biology. And since then I work on the field and I'm really passionate about that. And I hope that to transmit you a bit of that passion. First, I would like to introduce you how many types of hair follicles we have in the adult body. So when we are actually inside the belly of our mom, we have lanugo hair. As soon as we are becoming through the adulthood, we have terminal hair, intermediate hair, and vellus hair. The terminal hair are located in the scalp, in the beard, in the armpit, in the pubic areas, and they are very long, coarse, pigmented, thick, and they have an erector pili muscles. The intermediate hair follicles have a thick hair shaft. They are intermediate in length. They are pigmented, and they are found mainly in the eyelashes and the eyebrow. And then we have vellus hair follicle, well, that are located all over our body. Some they produce a more fine or shorter hair. Some you even don't see the hair that they produce. And it's really important to understand that basically, while we can microdissect terminal hair follicle and intermediate, we cannot microdissect vellus hair. And you have, during basically the adulthood, there may be a conversion on these sides from terminal, intermediate, and vellus, for example, in alopecia. But during puberty, actually, we have the other way conversion. We go from vellus in the face to intermediate to terminal, and then it generates the beards in male. So both basically ways are possible, and this can be reversible all the time. The hair follicle. So despite of the length of the, I forgot to mention something very important, actually, sorry for that. We have a dedicated Q&A session chat. Don't use the normal chat, otherwise everybody will see your question, while if you use the dedicated Q&A question, it will be only me seeing the name of the person. Sorry for that. I'm introducing actually, despite of the fact that we have different type of hair follicle, the structure of the hair follicle is the same. What dictates actually the size of the hair follicle is the derma papilla, what you see here, and the hair bulb. The bigger this is, the thicker is the hair shaft that is produced, and deeper is the hair follicle. In the hair follicle, we find close to the epidermis, the part so-called infundibulum, where you see also the insertion of the sebaceous gland. Then we have the isthmus, which contain also the bulge, where we are located the stem cells. We have also the suprabulbal part and the bulb. The bulb, which is then depicted here, is the hair shaft machinery, where basically the hair shaft is produced, is pigmented, while the bulge is very important. Here is where the stem cells, the pluripotent stem cells of the hair follicles are, and these are keratin 15 positive, CD200 positive. These cells are able to give rise to the progenitor cells, keratin 19, CD34, and the transient amplifying cells through the hair matrix that then produce the hair shaft, but they are also able to generate the sebocytes, the epithelium around the sebocytes, and the epidermis keratinocytes. So they are very important for regeneration. In the pilosebaceous unit, actually, we don't find only the hair follicle, we found the sebaceous gland, and the eccrine gland, which despite many of the ideas initially is very close to the hair follicle. We also have the erector pili muscle, which is the muscle that basically in response to some stimuli give you gunspams. And in certain area of the body, especially in the armpit and in the gown, we have actually the apocrine gland that are here, that are basically releasing sebum into the hair shaft and in the hair follicle. Therefore, we have around 5 million of mini organs of these hair follicles in the body. More than 100,000 are located in the scalp. The main role of the hair follicle is to produce the hair shaft, as you see here, because the hair shaft is important for thermoprotection, for camouflage, for releasing sebum, sweat, but importantly also for the secretion of noxious compounds. But actually, the hair follicle is much more, because it's a major hormone and metabolic and protein factory. And the proteins that actually the hair follicle produce, or the neuropeptide or others, has a basic implication across the skin. It is actually an ectodermal mesodermal interaction system. In fact, as you see here, we have epithelium, and it is surrounded by a specialized mesenchyma, which is the connective tissue sheath. So if we go from the side to the center, we have the connective tissue sheath, we have the outer sheath, we have the inner sheath, and the hair shaft. And in the mesenchymal, actually, we have the dermal papilla and the dermal cap that are very inductive and necessary for the hair follicle to grow. It is a self-rejuvenation wonder. It is able to cycle its whole life and to pass from a phase of regression to a phase of growth continuously. It's also called the bone marrow of the skin because, as I mentioned, there are a lot of stem cells population that can not only lead to the generation of progenitors in the hair follicles, but also much more around in the skin. It has an independent immune system, and it is a site of immunoprivilege. I will explain this a bit more later because it's quite a difficult concept. It is highly innervated, as you see here, and it is highly vascularized, not only from endothelia, but also lymphatic vessels. And recently, actually, we have even shown in the field that it can be a sensory organ. It can see, it can detect light, it can smell, and it can taste. So as I mentioned, the hair follicle actually cycles from through different phases.